Welcome, people. Welcome, football lovers. Thank you for joining us yet again. Welcome back to the show. Um, I'm looking forward to this one tonight because I've had an unbelievably good weekend. It's been a beautiful weekend of football, and there's not going to be many people on here that are going to agree with me. But the gang are back. Tobes is late, but he is joining us. We've only got Lewis for half hour. We're going to talk Arsenal Chelsea first. I've got Errol back. We've got Pete, who's definitely not going anywhere, trust me, because of the way that Newcastle are playing. We've got Dan United, who's joining us because he's a Man United fan. For some reason, there's a West Ham fan that's lingering around that won't go away. Lawless.
Like that lost
this is going to be fun.
train station.
Still in Europe, my friend. Still in Europe. I'll be saying it for the next 3 months at least. Still in Europe.
You better hope that you're the last team that stay in that competition, man. I'll tell you that now, because if any of us finish anywhere near where West Ham are going, the minute West Ham go out, you are getting absolutely roasted, my friend. Absolutely roasted. And you know what? People are in this chat already giving you a hell of a roasting, and most of them, I think, from the looks of things, are all Newcastle fans because they can't believe.
I've rattled the.
They're not even. Do you know what it is? They're not even rattled, mate. They're just.
Right.
They've been proven right yet again as to why I've given Pete a place on this show and why you're lucky to still be on here, my friend. That's what I'm saying. If you weren't in Europa Conference League, I would actually be binning you off this channel. That's how mad it is. That is how mad.
But we are. So keep hating, keep crying. Because until March, at least, we'll still be in Europe and you won't. Yeah? That's all I'm going to say.
Anyway, let's move on from that nonsense. Let's talk about Arsenal Chelsea. Lewis, I want to come to you first, bro. And I know that you were struggling at the weekend and I know it was hard for you, but I want to talk real. I want three things to be discussed in this little segment, right? I want to know what you thought of Chelsea. I want to know what you thought of Arsenal. And I want to ask the question that I don't think anybody wants to answer truthfully. Are Arsenal seriously in a title race, or is it way too early for you, Lewis?
On Chelsea, we're an absolute car crash from start to finish. At least the defence kept the scoreline decent. I don't think Arsenal had too many clear-cut chances until we went 1-0 down. But that's also why Potter played heavily defensive, and I don't want to see anyone criticise him for that because we should have. We weren't the better team going into that game. And if we tried to give them a match from the start, we would have got cooked the same way we got cooked after we went 1-0 behind because they started getting even more chances after that. Could have been a different game if Havertz had an ounce of creativity in him and could master a simple cutback, but can't really trust my attack for anything. Midfield gave away possession for fun. Loftus-Cheek, Havertz, Mount just struggled. Aubameyang didn't have any service. He didn't do anything in the game, but I don't really blame him either. If he gets like the cutback from Havertz or the ball in a couple different situations, if we move it quicker, I think it's a different game from him. But he had minimal action because he had minimal service. On Arsenal, bopped us off the park. You guys should be frustrated, should be annoyed that it was only 1-0 because you guys battered us the whole game. And it should have been way more than that. But better team by a mile. Again, I expected Martinelli to have a better job against Azpilicueta. I thought Azpi did much better against him than I thought. Same thing with Cucurella. Everyone's going to get at him because of the Xhaka hugging or whatever the hell he was doing for the goal. But I actually thought he had a decent performance, did the best he could against Saka, and he was just heavily isolated. And on the title race, no, I don't see Arsenal in a title race still. I've said you got to be in this position by February. Once you guys get out of the whole fixture pile-up after the World Cup. If you lot are in that position by then I think you lot could ride out to the rest of the season, and I'd say you're title contenders. Right now, you've got top 4 on lock. I'd be very surprised if you lot drop out of there, but I still think you're just holding first place for Man City. That squad's just way too good.
Yeah, see, I agree with you in terms of Man City. I still think we'll win the league, but I actually think we are in a title race now because I think we've shown evidence in terms of the first 13 games that we've answered a lot of questions that even as a doubter of this process. So there's two questions for me. Are Arsenal in a title race? I think they are because they're top of the league, right? Is it sustainable? That is the question. Is it sustainable? Now,
so are you leading the title race?
Big ask.
Tell me, are you leading the title race?
Well, I looked at the table, mate, and it would suggest that we are at the moment.
So you're leading the title race. So if you don't win the title, mate,
no, but that's the thing.
You bottled it.
This is why I'm saying wait to see where.
Listen,
This is
You're
why
coming
I'm
from,
saying
like-
wait to see where
Oh
Arsenal are
my
at in
God.
February and don't judge.
Exactly.
you think
Thank
if Man
you,
City
Louis.
win the title over
Exactly
us,
that.
we're gonna bottle the title? Are you
Well,
actually
you're in the
for real?
lead, innit?
This
You're
is coming
bottling the
from a
lead.
this is coming from a fan who is currently in a relegation battle, 2 points off of the relegation zone, and he's trying to tell me that Arsenal might bottle the title.
Let's
Look
have
at
it
this
right,
chest from
yeah.
this guy, man.
I
Oh,
hate
God,
sticking
here
up
we
for
go.
Spurs, yeah. But if it puts you, shows your hypocrisy, I would do it, right? Did you not say? Were you not one of the fans saying Spurs bottled or came third in a 2-horse race?
They did. They did.
Right. Yeah, but
So if we come second to Man City, are you going to say that Arsenal bottled the title? If we bottle the title, it means that we've done what we did last season in terms of bottling top 4 with 3 games to go, 4 points. I would say fair play, we've bottled it. But if we come second to Manchester City because they're better than us and it's by 5 or 6 points, I would take a second place being 5 or 6 points by that. I wouldn't say that's being bottling the title. It depends on what you mean. If you think that Arsenal are going to bottle it with 1 game to go and we just need to draw the game and we lose it, I would say, yeah, we've bottled us. But what's the
That would be what
bottlenecks?
defines a title race for me. If you lot are within, let's say, 6 points of them by 6 to 9 points of them by April or something, like you say, it's a tight title race because you can reach them. It's all about that level because you could be first or second, but 15 and 20 points off. There's not a title race. So it all depends on how you look at it.
So who is in the title race this season?
I just think it's City.
It ain't started.
Man City. That's what I'm saying.
I just think City walk away with the league. It's just a case of when.
And I agree with you. I agree with you. But
I think once City get in front, that's when the title race is over. I think as long as Arsenal can be out in front, it's great for the league. It's great for Arsenal. And I think in that context, there's a title race. But I think as soon as City go out in front, I think that's when the idea of it becoming a race is over. I think once they get 3-6 points, I just don't think anyone, and again, no matter how good Arsenal have been so far this season, I don't think anyone can keep pace with them. It's looking increasingly more difficult. What I will say, though, about Arsenal, and give you credit, is the fact that I've said for a while, until another team outside of City and Liverpool can put on 10 to 12, 15 wins on the bounce and on the spin, or go unbeaten for 15 games, you know, until another team can prove that they can do that, I won't entertain anybody else being in the title race conversations. Arsenal, fair to them, the credit to them, have proven that they are now nearly capable of getting to those heights, which is a really good standard, but it's how you sustain that, like you said before, Dan.
And that's
just
that's
to add to that
answer.
as well, because
that's
there's
a
one big
sensible
point.
answer.
13-14. Do you guys think Arsenal were in a title race in 13-14?
Yeah, we were, man. We balls that up big time. We were top at New Year's Day.
The way I see it, everyone looks back at that and they think it was a Liverpool v Man City title race, but it was because they were the ones there by the end of the season. But at that point, same point that we're in now, Arsenal were top of the league, and I think they've been top for the majority of the season. But that's exactly why you can't judge it right now. It's way too early.
And that's sensible. And that is sensible. I
need to stick up for my Newcastle friends here. Like, you're doing them a massive disservice. Massively disrespect because Newcastle are 5 points behind Manchester City. Why are we not talking about them in the title race?
Well, I haven't asked that question yet. Are Newcastle in the title race? That's a good question. Are they in the title race?
Well, if you want to say Arsenal's in the title race, we might as well chuck them in it.
I would just say
as well.
It's hard on for me. That are you asking that question sincerely, or are you just trolling?
I'm saying no.
He's trolling. He's trying to be clever. He's trolling.
I'm not. If Arsenal in a title race now at this point, Newcastle that are less than 2 wins away from overtaking Man City, right?
So as I said.
Either way, while we're on Man City, that Man City result on the weekend was a fucking disgrace. I know this show doesn't have a Man City representative, but they need to get cooked for that decision, because nowhere in sport should decisions like that be able to exist. That is absolutely fucking diabolical.
Top teams getting.
I don't understand De Bruyne.
That's the problem.
That was mad, man. Absolutely.
Can I just say, actually, just a quick one with regards to Arsenal? For me, this season, as we're all talking about, we know what City are capable of, and we know evidently what they probably will go on and do. But there's a lot to say about the Arsenal team this season. You're playing the day after them many times. So the pressure is on you to get the 3 points, to get either close or to get back ahead. And I think we're seeing something different from this Arsenal team that we've seen over the past 5 years. And I think it's, as I've always said, as a football fan, I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying seeing it. The fact that City haven't gone, 9-10 points ahead, and it's we're in November. So just long may
very sensible from Dan United. Lawless won't have it, but it's a very sensible thing to say. Arsenal are looking different this season. I don't think we're going to win a title. I still think that we are going to lose out to Manchester City. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying the ride. Lewis, I don't think
the title race has started. Neither is the relegation battle.
And that might be fair. That might be. Well, you're lucky the relegation battle ain't started, mate.
Lucky for you, Lawless.
You're lucky the relegation battle ain't started, brother. I'll tell you that now.
Early.
The season starts this week, Lawless. The season starts.
The season starts this week against Leicester. Oh my word! Listen, we're getting to that. Lewis, I want to ask you before we come because I know I ain't got you for long, man. Like, I went on about two players in the Arsenal team that I really thought were unreal on the weekend, right? Saliba and Partey. And I honestly believe that since Vieira and Campbell, we've had nobody like them. Nobody. We've had Coquelin, Song. We've had shocking, right, players. Saliba has now come in for me, and Thomas Partey. I think that's the closest we've had since those quality players. I think we've had shocking players before that in those positions. Now we finally have a monster in Partey in the middle, who I thought was incredible, by the way, and Saliba. And I just wanted to get your thoughts as a Chelsea perspective on that. Are we bigging them up too much, or were they very, very good at the weekend?
I think Chelsea were poor and they helped towards it, but it doesn't take away from Arsenal's performance either. I thought the only thing that was a bit questionable about Arsenal were their end product in the final third, because you guys should have and could have killed us off at numerous opportunities in that game. In midfield, you're right, Partey, Xhaka, the whole midfield just absolutely nullified us. Couldn't progress the ball forward for anything. Saliba had a brilliant performance, but then again, it's like he's against the likes of Havertz. I'm not really going to praise him too much for that. But his quality this season does still speak for itself. But it's a bit of both. Arsenal came in and they absolutely dominated us, but we were just so second best in everything that I'm not really too surprised. And everyone predicted it before anyway. I said I was only speaking a 2-0 win into existence because I wanted to be positive, not for any logical reason at all. So I'm not too surprised by any of it.
Lewis, honestly, when I saw the video of Aubameyang, I was like, why would they do it? They're just setting themselves up. In what sense?
I believed it though. I jumped into it. I was like, cool, drop the dagger on Sunday. I'm here for the storyline. And then Havertz didn't give him a cutback and we move. Is what it is.
What do you think is the problem with
your... Wow.
What is the problem with your kind of hoodoo with strikers at the minute or forwards, Lewis? Like, it's something that, as from an outside perspective, I've not been able to put my finger on. But from a Chelsea fan, it must be incredibly frustrating for you. It's been a number of seasons where you just haven't had something prolific.
It's got to be Costa's probably the last one that fucking annihilated.
He terrorized everyone in the league. You know what I mean? Like, you've not had someone on that level for time, bro.
I see the reason why, but a lot of people don't want to admit to it. But it's a creativity problem. Okay. Like, you saw this last season when we had Werner up top or Lukaku, and they'd make runs when the ball's in midfield all the time, and the midfielders would never pass forward. They would just pass to the sides or pass to the wing backs, and they just slow down play. And the player never receives the ball. And that's been our biggest issue. There's no creativity in midfield. Jorginho is a deep line playmaker. He's not really meant to be solely responsible for that. Kante and Kovacic don't have final passes in them, and they haven't had for the last few years, regardless of the BS PR hype that they tried to put behind the two of them. Speaking of PR hype, Mason Mount and Kai Havertz are 2 10s who couldn't create a Word document, let alone an actual open play assist.
He'll start the World Cup, won't he, Lewis? Mount will start the World Cup, and that's
he will.
He'll start the World Cup for England.
But this is the point, though, Lou. Like, you've had 3 different managers in that time. Or was it 3 or 4 managers since Costa? I think it might have been 3. 3 managers since
4 managers. 4. Sorry.
4. And is it the players? Is it the manager? Like, how have you not been able to progress the good ball forward enough to create an abundance of chances in all this time? That's what I really can't get my head around.
we just have a massive reliance at creativity from the wing backs. That's why everyone looks at Reece James as our best player, because he's a wing back. He's more creative than all of our forwards, and he's also probably a better finisher than a good half of them. Like, Mount and Havertz are not creative at all. They're like black holes of creativity, and they're the players that we rely on to make chances for our squad, and they can't do it consistently. Mason Mount's numbers do show that he's the most creative attacker in our squad, but like, if you're the best of a bad bunch, it don't make you good. Like, it just means that you look a little bit better than everybody else. Fact is, Mason Mount would stat padded the majority of that from corners, and his corners are inconsistent in general. In open play, there's like under 10, 15 assists in the Chelsea shirt in just the league alone, let alone in all competitions. Havertz, Jose Sarr made more big chances than him in the league last season. He's a goalkeeper. These are the players we rely on. That's why Lukaku doesn't get nothing, Aubameyang doesn't get nothing, and Werner never got nothing.
Lewis, do you miss him? Someone's mentioned him in the chat there, like a Giroud coming off the bench.
Yes.
You do, don't
I
you?
wish Giroud was like 5 years younger.
He would start, bro,
So
in your
good,
side.
bro.
Yeah,
He'd start at the moment.
Like,
He would start Giroud, and he did
was
well for
always
Chelsea,
on the
to be fair.
bench. Start of each season, he'd be on the bench, and by the end, he was starting every single game. Every manager just thought he was old and washed. No, he was our best striker. He would have been the only good striker we've had since Diego Costa. It's just
That's fair.
Came way too
he'll
late.
break the French record, won't he? He will end up the French top scorer, I think.
Yeah,
Man, he's so underrated, man. Unbelievably underrated.
Lewis,
Go on, Pete.
and I don't mean to step in, Dan, if you had this plan.
No,
anyway,
go on, man.
I want to ask you, because you come to St. James's Park on Saturday. So we're buzzing right now. We've got the war flags, planning something big. It's our last home game before the World Cup. We're on a roll at the moment. How do you see Chelsea faring coming to St. James's Park? Like, what are your thoughts about the game coming up on Saturday evening?
We are getting bent over for 90 minutes, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. If we even take a draw, fair enough, in there. I'm not going to celebrate it like it's anything, even though it would be a very good achievement. I just want to keep the standard. But in general, I'm going up to Newcastle already expecting a loss. Arsenal was meant to be the more winnable fixture for me out of the two. I have no hope for the Newcastle game, bro. I don't know where we get a win from. You guys' home record's been ridiculous this season. Our away record's been terrible this season. We don't start games well. You guys start games well. Our midfield doesn't create anything. I don't trust any of my goalkeepers. And our attack doesn't get any service. We're not winning. It is what it is.
Can I just quickly ask?
You know what? It's
Lou,
written
well,
now. You've put it out there. I love this.
I was thinking that, Lawless. Lawless,
yeah. That's all I'm going for.
Newcastle's an amazing city. An amazing
Newcastle's
city.
class.
So just go out and enjoy yourself, because the result is going to pain you.
Yeah, it's
108 bars around the stadium, the most amount of bars in any of the cities.
Just enjoy it, man.
I will say it's my favourite non-London city in the country. It's good. I'll give them that.
I haven't been out there in years. That's
You've set Pete up for a big fall now. You've built it up like, no, we're never winning with it.
It's not for our fault, because look, and I'm sure we'll get to it. Like, we never expected to be sitting on 27 points at this point in the season. With Chelsea are coming to town. Chelsea have got an
West Ham
iffy
would love to
record
be
at
on that
St.
many
James's
points.
Park. Chelsea got an iffy record at St. James's Park. Sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. But we're looking to kind of send the players off, or the players are looking to send us off into the World Cup with another win. We are.
Wrap
But
Trippier up
it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed.
Look after Trippier for us, mate, for fuck's sake. Put him in front.
Trippier's fine. Trippier's fine. There was no injury at the weekend. It was all kind of overhyped. He's absolutely fine. He probably won't play tomorrow. He'll be ready for Saturday, as will Callum Wilson. But like, Chelsea have got, the thing about it is, you talk about the players not firing, Havertz, Aubameyang. Equally, they've always got that opportunity to just turn it on in a game. Mm-hmm. And if they're ever going to turn it on, it's against a team that are flying high at the moment. You're away from home, so it takes the pressure off to a certain extent. Like you're saying, you're not expecting as a fan to win. So
The players.
None of us expected to win on Sunday.
Yeah, but away from home, it does take the pressure off. When you're at home, there is an added pressure with the fans. The fans do get.
I would agree, but we don't start games well. We're a lost cause, bro. We're a lost cause. It is what it is.
Can I just ask Lewis as well, man?
It's all right,
Listen,
bro.
can I just lastly, Lou, before you go, right?
Yeah.
I know Granit Xhaka has been quality this year, but Cucurella doesn't have to show him respect and hug him for the goal. Like, what is he actually doing? Like, can you please explain what sort of defending that is?
He's moving like one clingy X with that. I don't get it. But the whole setup for that is an absolute mess. Kai Havertz misses a very simple clearance. The ball goes right through Mendy. Not too sure what Silva's doing in there. It's just a mess. Like, the whole thing is just it signifies our game. Just all over the place.
Fair play, man. Tobes, before Lewis goes, any comments on Arsenal-Chelsea?
Yeah, Arsenal were good. Chelsea were crap. A lot of overhyped players, consistently showing their true colors. And listen, I like Graham Potter. He's a good coach, but bro, he made an absolute dog's dinner of that game in terms of how he set Chelsea up. It was bizarre to me, absolutely bizarre. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. And yeah, that's that.
Yeah, fair play, man. I was a bit surprised, to be fair, Lewis, that Potter was going so direct at times. Like, he was smashing the ball up to Sterling and Aubameyang. Fair play, Havertz.
Bizarre.
You know, is okay at holding the ball up. I would say okay, and that's perhaps being kind at times. Average. Yeah, that's perhaps being kind. And I feel like Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, they just edit up. They're like, I'll take this all day long. I didn't get that. That was really surprised.
But you guys were just better than us from top to bottom. You're just clear of us. Should have been more goals. Like, there's no redeemable feature of that game except Brozier looked nice when he came on, and Silva and Chalobah kept the scoreline decent.
I think it's time to play Brozier, man. It's just time to play him now, because
I don't get it at this point. Like, Aubameyang can't really do as much deep that Brozier can, because he's so good on the ball and so quick for his size. Havertz, like, fucking, I don't know, Iwomi or whatever the Nottingham Forest striker is probably better than he is. I don't expect anything from him either. Just give Brozier a run out. Like, it can't be any worse.
If you want to play Aubameyang, just play him with him or something, because Aubameyang's always looked good when he had a Lacazette near him, to be fair to him. This was way before the Arteta reign. He always looked okay. I think he got Lacazette, got player of the season, and he got 31 goals, Aubameyang, under Unai Emery, with them two playing. And that hold-up player is sometimes what Aubameyang will need, because he ain't going to do that. Trust me. He'll stand up there and he will score goals, but everyone has to do everything else for him. We know this. So it wasn't a surprise for me, man. So fair play. Listen, Lewis, big up yourself, man. Make sure you go and smash over on Lewis's channel. It's in the description. All these guys' channels are in these descriptions, in fact. Lewis, always a pleasure, man. Take care, bro.
I'll be back next week after we lose again. Big up, everybody.
I thought you was going to say make sure you go and smash Newcastle. I thought you was changing sides now all of a sudden, turning your back on your team.
I like Newcastle, bruv. I like Newcastle, but I do not want them to win every single game, because it means they're going to finish above us. So we'll be.
Do you know what? I hope they do. I hope they do. And that'll be your justice.
Lord is coming out to the
What's happening here?
Lord is going back to his roots. He's going back to his roots in the 90s.
Go back to pointing at a camera, sticking his face this close, pointing with a Newcastle shirt on again.
Lawless, you've got a zoom. You've got a zoom in your hand, haven't you? Whenever it comes to you, all of a sudden you're like this.
I need to, you know what I mean? Get out there. I'm just saying, you deserve it. That will be just beautiful. I hope you finish 5th and they finish 4th, and get Champions League at your expense. That will serve you right.
Listen to the hatred of Venom when
Let's
he
see how
said
much you love it.
Last week he was all let's hate Newcastle. Now he wants Newcastle to finish above.
But I hate your love of Newcastle more than anything.
I tell you what I hate is you coming still on this channel and me having to allow you on here, because I want to bin you off this channel and put you in where you deserve to be.
We've been voting
with
for
everyone
weeks.
else.
I mean, we've all been asking the question for weeks, Potts, haven't we?
We're still in Europe. Newcastle's not in Europe.
Yeah,
That's
you're lucky.
saying.
You're lucky you're in
I'm
Europe.
so glad the Intertoto Cup's not around still. You'd be banging on about that if you were still in that, mate. I'm telling you.
We won
Absolutely
it, mate.
unbelievable, this guy.
So did we.
Just trust me, we'll come on to some of your mad takes yesterday that I watched when I come off of Matisse's channel. You're lucky I was not still on there, by the way. I'll tell you this now. Right, let's go to Liverpool, man. I want to talk, Errol, I want to talk very briefly, literally just you about what's happening in the ownership, and then we'll go into Liverpool's performance against Spurs. Then I'll come to Tobes. What did you make of it all, Errol?
Bro, it's been a mad 48 hours for us. I mean, we Liverpool fans, Toby the same, probably wake up yesterday just wanting to see who the draw of the Champions League is. Like, that's probably where your head is. The focus is purely on the next round, the knockouts. And out of nowhere, draw Real Madrid for about half an hour. That's all anyone can talk about. And then this news just takes over the whole timeline. And it looks as though FSG are prepared to entertain offers for the club. It looks like they're prepared to entertain offers for out and out ownership on all of their shares. It's not a minority stake. It looks like they want to sell up the whole thing. I think my initial thing is it's just the best timing for them. I think they've probably looked at the whole project. We've looked at the things in the landscape of football at the moment. The Super League didn't go their way. There have been some new ownerships taken over, which is disturbed the footballing landscape. Won't mention no clubs' names in that respect, but that's changed the dynamic in the league. And I think they're looking at the big recession that's probably looming. That's going to affect everybody, every walk of life, but ultimately it'll affect football clubs as well. And Liverpool Football Club at the moment, where our current position is, there's no guarantee that it'll be top 4 next year. So in the next 2 to 3 years, 12 to 18 months, will we be any more profitable than we are today and yesterday? And the answer is probably going to be no. The value in the immediate future will probably decline and take a hit. So in their eyes, now is probably the perfect time to sell. They probably see it as, we have taken this project as financially far as we can, and there's no shame in leaving the club in a good, healthy state and handing the reins over to someone that can now take us on to the next level. I think in terms of the fan base, it's opened up a huge, massive can of worms across the social media landscape of the whole morality conversation, and it's not one that I think we need to really dive into, because I just like talking about the footy and how it's going to impact the team. But the one thing I would love to see is a well-run club that backs the manager that they put in charge, sees his vision and gives him the funds to compete competitively year in, year out, not working on a shoestring budget and hoping for the best, but having really outlandish targets and expectations, knowing the level of competition you're up against. And if in an ideal world, we'd get that with having moral billionaires, but let's just have it straight. There are no moral billionaires in the world. You don't get $1 billion or pounds being moral. The two don't go hand in hand. So
will your fans apologize to Man City for all the oil club, that, everything you've said about them when you're pleading for the same thing?
No, and I think the reason we'll always hit the City fans over the head with that stick is because for a long time he didn't have the caliber or the history to kind of deserve that boost up in terms of the football pyramid. He got plucked from obscurity and thrusted into the higher echelons of football. So football fans are always going to rip them for that shit, because that could have been anyone. They could have been any man in his job. No, Newcastle have had history though. They won. They've got European, heritage, bro. We discussed this last week. You know what I mean? Like, the fact of the matter is, I think Liverpool fans, a lot of them are going to have to come round to the realization that the money, it might, on the face of it, might turn our stomachs, but eventually, if the rewards over a sustained period outweigh that, I think eventually they'll get on side. But the rewards have got to be there, and at the moment, it's not going to be an overnight fix, and that's just my take.
Errol,
it's going to be interesting times, man.
Sorry, Dan. Just a quick one with this whole situation with the club now potentially facing new owners. What are your thoughts on Klopp? Is this Klopp's biggest get-out clause at the end of the season? Because it's not been going his way. Obviously we got the weekend, but it's not been going his way this season. Is this his time to turn around and say, end of the season, I'm not sticking around for this, I'm off?
Do you know what makes, and that my initial thought was that line of thinking. I thought Klopp might not like the change of regime. He might not like what that looks and feels like, and he might just want to protect his own brand, his own image, and say, do you know what, I'm off skis. And you couldn't really blame him. But from the conversations I've had over the last day, people have said that, or people are suggesting that Klopp's knew about this for a while, and maybe he's taken it on the chin. The fact that FSG haven't really overly funded in the last window, and they haven't really stuck the chest out and made power moves in the transfer market, because he knew that something was going to change significantly, which would enable him to have more of a level playing field, and he might just want to see out the rest of his contract under a level playing field. So there's none of that what-ifism. Do you know what I mean? What would have been if I would have had? I think he may just suck up the fact that, do you know what, there's going to be funds available to me. Players are still going to want to play for me. And at least for the initial, a new ownership are going to need me just as much as I need the job to still be able to take Liverpool in the right direction. So I'll leverage that power that I've got, and I'll still make this Liverpool in my image, even if that's only for the next 2 to 3 years. And then what they do thereafter is no longer my responsibility. And I'm starting to slightly lean towards that, and maybe that's because I just want Klopp to stick around, and I want to find a way for him to find happiness to stick around. But I'm probably starting to lean towards that now than just thinking Klopp might just dip out for the moral reasons.
Do you know what, mate? I keep getting in my head. Sorry, Potts. I promise I'll stop.
No, that's cool.
The one thing I keep getting in my head is there's one club who's going to be losing their manager end of the season. Big heritage. No. Big heritage. Big project. West Ham, mate. Yeah, Moyes no. Ancelotti leaving. Ancelotti will probably go from Madrid the end of this season.
Nah, man. Zidane wants the job.
Do you reckon Zidane?
Yeah, I think Zidane.
I think Zidane for France. I do after the World Cup.
Yeah.
Nah, I think he wants West Ham. I think he wants to take his training sessions in their porter cabins and play with some of the best players in world football, like Craig Dawson and Flynn Downs. I think
you know what? If it ever happens, oh my god! I hope that somehow Zidane has a secret soft spot for West Ham or something, or his son loves
keep
West
dreaming,
Ham.
man.
Grew up a Mark Noble fan. Because if it happens, you're finished,
I'm Mark Noble
every week.
Oh,
you never know.
You can keep
I'm just
dreaming,
saying.
And that'll be Zidane's assistant manager, Mark Noble.
He's our director.
Imagine them fucking team talks. I would love an Amazon fucking documentary with them in charge.
Mark Noble's team talk could be, guys, I've mopped the floor today, so now I'll go mop up the opposition because I mopped the floor. I'm the cleaner.
Yeah, your filthy team wouldn't know anything about cleaning up after themselves.
Oh, sorry.
And what else is Noble famous for? Wasn't he? Didn't he call that fan? Oh, it's always nice to speak to a Chinese person. And he went,
"No, that was fake. That was fake.
Was it fake? Okay, all right.
Yeah, that was actually Chinese. He tweeted it out. But he was famous for picking up one of your players and chucking him off the pitch, like the piece of trash that he was at our ground. I can't remember which one of your players, whether it was
Herrera,
yeah. Picked him up and got him off the pitch like a piece of garbage.
He's also famous for being brought on in the last minute to take a penalty and missing it. That was
against United, if I remember rightly.
That was class. That was absolute class. Tobes, let's come to you, man. Were Liverpool lucky to get 3 points? Do you think Tottenham deserve more? Did you just gift it to them thanks to an Eric Dyer assist?
I think they were fortunate to get 3 points, but when you start off as slow as we did, and you play as well as they did, and they get gifted the second goal that we gifted them, then you got to see the game out, and they saw the game out. So I can't really have too many grievances towards Liverpool. I look towards Spurs first before I look at getting angry at Liverpool. Mo Salah just tucked away the chances he received, man. The first goal they scored was really, really well worked. That was a good goal. Good pass from Robertson. Yeah. And Nunez has brought it down and then found Salah. And Salah's taken it out of his feet so quick. Fair enough. Really good finish. He looks like he's back on his best form. But what annoyed me about the goal was a consistent theme in the first half was that there was zero pressure on Nunez. Nunez is probably one of the worst. He was a constant threat up until maybe minute 35, 40, and he generally had a relatively good game by his standards. But Nunez, I think he's a good player, but you don't associate Nunez with technique. Do you get what I'm saying? So if the ball gets fizzed into Nunez, he's someone that won't be able to bring it down, kill it dead, and release it as quick as like a Firmino, for instance. Ask me why Nunez has the freedom to sort of control that ball, bring it down, look up, see Mo Salah's there, passes the ball to Mo Salah, and then it's 1-0. It was a constant theme of us in the first half. Like, we just didn't put enough pressure on Liverpool. We were way too passive off the ball. We weren't even, I don't even think we were sat back because we were playing like a mid-block, because every single time Liverpool was getting us in transition in the first half, every single time, just slamming the ball to Núñez on the right-hand side, trying to catch us out on the break. And it was working. It was working for large parts of the first half. But yeah, I think that's the theme of Spurs. And maybe I think Konate has to take some blame there as well. You look at the lineup.
I was just going to bring this up because this is a good point. Konate against big clubs is normally wicked, but this time your record against top six, us, Chelsea, Liverpool, ain't looked good so far.
United.
Yeah, it's not been good this season, and it's just
United as well.
Our record generally against top six sides is quite poor, and this season it's been really bad. I think we've got 1 point out of a possible 1 point out of a possible like 12 or 15. I don't know. Something mad. Something mad like that. It's
mad.
pathetic.
Like, I'm looking at the teams on this panel. There's only West Ham you've taken a point from. Am I right in saying that?
No, West Ham and Chelsea.
Chelsea.
West Ham
Oh,
and
sorry,
Chelsea.
Yeah, Lewis.
So like it's really poor. It's really poor. We lost to Newcastle as well. If you wanna chuck them in there too. So
yeah,
it's really poor. And I feel like with the lineup as well, he didn't need to start Emerson Royale. I keep saying it. He didn't need to start Emerson Royale.
He's so bad, man. He's so
didn't
bad.
need to start Sessegnon. If he had gone with attacking wing backs to start off the game, then maybe you would have seen a better performance from the off. But as much as I can put some criticism on Conte in terms of the attitude, etc., and some of the picks, I still think even after Liverpool scored the first goal, we were slowly getting back into the game. Kane had that cross that hit the post, and Perisic hit the post, and we were trying. We were actively trying to sort of create inroads. And then
I love it. Spending money to slander my team, and no one cares about little old West Ham.
And Big Joe, I love you. I love you, Big Joe. Keep it coming.
Yeah. That's the real Joe Linton. Bloody hell, listen, mate. You got 100 grand a week or whatever you earn, eh? And ain't £2 a time to have a pop at me.
So yeah, like I think and even after that first goal, listen, Liverpool played well in the first half. They were much better than we were, but you just felt that like if you kept this at 1-0 heading into the break, we won't lose this game. That's what I felt, and I said that to my friend at the time. That was like minute 36, 37, because we were sort of finding our feet, And then Eric Dyer, uncontested header. There's nobody close to him. He has all the time in the world to either head it in the opposite direction, bring it down, pass it off, and he inexplicably just heads it into Salah's path.
Tobes, that's not the only time he's done it. Though he's always got that. In his locker,
He'll go to the World Cup. He'll be in the
crazy.
I want to hear Errol's reply though,
because he's error prone. He's error prone.
You just said they're lucky there, and I feel like he's got a reply to that, because like Errol, was you coming away from that thanking your lucky stars that you beat the mighty Tottenham? Was you lucky?
That's not what I said.
Do you know what?
He's lucky at him. Lucky at him.
What a weirdo. What a weirdo.
You said they were lucky. Did you say they were lucky to win? Did you say that? Yes, you did.
Pot said that, and I said, yeah, I think.
Yeah, you did. So you said it.
Pot said it, and I said, yeah. When you look at how we played in the second half, can I finish my analysis of the game? Or are you going to interrupt me?
Oh, you're still going? Jesus.
Yeah, I'm still going. Don't you wait. Don't you worry. When we get to West Ham,
I'm waiting for Errol.
We're going to talk about
you. Can't just slander his team like that and carry on like that.
But I didn't even slag off Errol's team. Yeah, because their performance in the second half was poor, and I think Errol will agree with that. They were not Liverpool. When you look at their first half performance and versus their second half performance, they were nowhere near as competitive.
Night and day to an extent.
They were nowhere near as competitive. In the second half, when we upped the intensity and started putting pressure on their players, they were crumbling. They were absolutely crumbling. The midfield for Liverpool is a big problem. Bentoncourt and Basuma were running rings around that midfield in the second half, winning every first ball, every second ball, every physical duel. Bro, it's worry. If I was a Liverpool fan, props to getting the result. Mo Salah's back in form. Konate was excellent. Man of the match.
Stunning.
This is what I was going to pick up on. So
Man of the match. Alisson was really good as well. Van Dijk was good. But if I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm looking at that midfield and I'm like, wow, I'm still worried. I'm still right. We've won here, but that was your best midfield. Fabinho, Thiago, and maybe instead of Harvey Elliott, Jordan Henderson. And bro, they can't hack. They can't deal with Liverpool. Liverpool's midfield cannot deal with sides who put pressure on them. Physical midfielders who can put pressure on them and can carry the ball through them. They can't deal with it. And in the second half, it's no coincidence. We were killing Trent's side. We created Perisic.
It's easy enough, isn't it?
Harry Kane, I think like 1 or 2 headers. Benson Core's header, and then obviously Harry Kane's goal. Like we created enough in the second half to have got a point in that game, but we didn't get the point. So
I think what I took away from it, I agree with 90% of what you said there, Tobes, in terms of the analysis from Liverpool's perspective. I think the big thing for me was when I look at teams this season, we've been too easy to score against because we've made mistakes and we've gifted teams goals. And I've sat there on streams and I've sat there on watch-alongs and I've said, when was the last time you can remember a team giving us a goal? And the last team I would have expected it against would have been another team in the top 4. When you play against your top 6 rivals, your top 4 rivals, typically they have flawless games and you need moments of magic to really be the difference. So the fact that you gifted us that second goal, and Eric Dyer, again, as we've already pointed out, was shambolic in his defending there. I don't know what he's thinking. He just has a proper brain fart moment and just gives us it. I think it was nice because those opportunities for us this season have been few and far between. But the fact that Salah was able to be the one to receive it, run through on goal and finish it off was amazing for us. And this was my next point.
This one, yeah.
I was
a one-man machine at one point.
He's unreal, mate. He was unreal.
Crazy. I was going to mention Salah's performance, Konate's performance, and Trent's passing.
Yeah, Trent's passing in the first half was a joke.
It was sick.
That point there about Konate. I know it's only been 2 games, but since he's come back,
it's quality, man.
We just, even though you said, we don't have the control in that midfield and we struggle against teams that are going to stick it on us in the mid, I agree with that has happened all season and it'll probably continue to happen until we reinforce and get some extra legs in there. But at the same time, when you've got a player like Konate at the back there, who's got the level of physicality that he's got the speed, and he's got that aggression in his play. Because I think Van Dijk, my criticism of Van Dijk most of the season has been he's been too passive. He's got great reading of the game and how it plays out, but sometimes you just need an aggressive centre half to rough up a couple of strikers and a couple of forwards to just say, nah, you're not the one. You're not gonna get round me like that this season or this game. And Konate is the other end of that spectrum. He will get involved and he will put his body in. And maybe that's because he knows his body's more capable of being able to do that. He's a little bit more fearless. Maybe it's a little bit of inexperience in him as well. And he'd rather be more touch tight to his opponents. But whatever it is, it works for what we need right now. And
Van Dijk looks different with him, doesn't he? Van Dijk looks different with Konate next to him.
Because he knows he's got someone who's going to take charge of the battles that Van Dijk doesn't necessarily want to get his body into and have to get dragged into. Konate will do that dirty work.
How old is he, Errol?
Pardon?
How old is he?
22,
23. Yeah.
He's going to be
He's quality.
Him and Saliba in that France team in a couple of seasons, the next Euros, the next World Cup.
Well, it could be the start. Well, if Varane's out,
nah, he'll probably play like Kunde and
I don't think he gets in this
time. You're right. Those two as a pairing, it's mental. And Konate he's insane, and I've been bigging up Konate since last season as well. Like he's an incredible centre back, and he's so young as well. And I think yesterday or Sunday when he'd get the thing is, Konate, you don't even associate him as a ball player. Even when he got on the ball, he's breaking lines with his passes.
That's improved so far as well.
He's stepping into the midfield zones and he's driving with the ball and giving it to the likes of Thiago and go further up the pitch. And then defensively won every aerial duel, won every physical duel, made so many good blocks, tracked his run as well. And I think
in comparison, we've seen Lovren get bodied by Harry Kane. Harry Kane's no mug. Do you know what I mean? He will make you play his game. Like if you're not on it, Harry Kane will make a fool out of a lot of defenders in this league. But Konate, for such a young man, was able to see through it and was able to one-up him. And I just think, he should be able to take a lot of confidence away from that. I think from a Liverpool perspective, my last little look on the analysis side of things, the performance in the first half was great, but the result was meant more to me because the weekend had already gone a lot of our way, apart from the City thing that I've already addressed. The weekend, by and large, went our way, and it was a time for us to actually make a stake for trying to catch up on the rest of the teams above us and pulling Spurs down. Chelsea had already been pulled down to our level, so I think that was important. And the fact that we was able to see out the game, because I after 2-1, I thought this is just going to end as another 2-2. I can just see them getting a second goal, and both teams will be. I'll be sat here on Tuesday with Toby. Toby will feel like he deserved to win. I'll feel like I deserve to win, and it's been a stalemate. And I'm just glad that we was able to get it over the line, because right now, in the moment we're at, with the way things are, I think 3 points was more important than being able to sit here with my chest out and being like, "Oh, we played them off the park." Yeah. I don't think it was like that. I think both teams are struggling, and it's going to be very tight in that bracket between third, maybe, or
I've said this all season. At the start of the season, I said this, that the top four, obviously you have your top two, but it is going to be chopping and changing all the way through the season. It's going to be a tight one this season, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it will be. It will be, man.
And
I tell you what, I want to ask just quick, right? I want to ask just quick, both of you and Tobes, really quickly. Who's finishing higher, Liverpool or Spurs?
I would
still say Liverpool.
Yeah, I blindly say Liverpool. Yeah, I blindly say Liverpool because I back us to still be able to go on that silly run when things click. But at the same time, based on current form, I'd be stupid if I just out and out believe that we've got a God-given right to be above Spurs right now where we currently are.
I think the thing with Liverpool as well as Errol is you look at any team that plays Liverpool at the moment knows that they've got an opportunity. There's going to be an opportunity to get that goal. Whereas previous seasons, you've been so tight at the back that teams have gone in there going, "We've got to play out of our fucking skin here to get a chance." Whereas teams are going in, aren't they, this season and thinking,
because we've been given away
chance. Yeah.
So, Tobes, are you saying you'll finish fourth and Liverpool finish like third?
I think I was thinking Liverpool will finish maybe like second, but I'm not convinced that they can finish second. I don't think they can I think Liverpool are capable of winning 3, 4, maybe even 5 games on the spin, but I'm not confident that Liverpool can go like 10 wins in 13. I'm not confident that this Liverpool
they're finishing above you. That's what you said.
Yeah. I think they're going to finish above Spurs. Yeah.
Do you think you miss out on top 4? Because
no, I think we
Man
get
United.
I didn't say Man United. I don't think Man United.
Chelsea.
I don't think Chelsea are going to get top 4 as well.
Interesting. So you'll get 4th. What are Arsenal going to finish below Spurs? What are we saying?
We'll get 3rd or 4th. Arsenal will get 3rd or 4th. Arsenal can get 3rd, 4th, or 2nd. Liverpool can get 2nd or 3rd.
Interesting.
We'll see, man. That is interesting. Let's move to. I want to do Man United last. I want to go because I've got a couple of things on Man United and Emery. Let's get into Lawless and Pete.
Why don't we mix Pete and Lawless together?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Let's celebrate Newcastle being clinical because I watched that game. I watched that game, Pete, and Southampton. How the hell did they lose that 4-1?
But how do you mean?
They had chances, but you look.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They did have a couple of chances. One just before half time. How they missed that.
I love this Joe Linton. Sorry, Pete. He's a ledge, man.
Keep it coming, Joe. Big Joe, keep it coming.
Drinks are on you when I see you, Potts, by the way, with these.
Oh, man, I love it.
But Tobes is absolutely right. They had a couple of chances, just either side of half time, really. But look, we weren't at our best, but we still won 4-1. And I think that says a lot.
Don't say what I think you're going to say. Don't say that cliche, what people say.
No, I'm not saying any cliche. What I'm saying is that we did play well and we still won 4-1. And to be fair, we had other chances where we could have scored more goals as well. So it kind of swings and roundabouts there. But what I loved about it is that we weren't at our best, but we still were able to have big moments in the game where we could turn it on.
Pete, like, 12 months ago today, mate, Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
12 months ago
today. I was about to say, the anniversary is in full effect
Unreal.
Today.
I think one club in particular here could do with Eddie Howe, Pete.
Yeah, it could do with a couple of our players.
They take Sam Allardyce back at the moment, Toes. I'm telling you, mate.
He's not high profile enough, Tobes. He's not high profile.
Yeah, it's true.
Big Sam.
But look, Eddie Howe this time last year was coming into a job where we're sitting 19th in the Premier League, and I think we were like 4 or 5 points adrift of like in the bottom three.
Hadn't won.
Now we're sitting in third in the table, 27 points after 14 games. Like, no Newcastle fan ever would have thought we would have been in this position.
Wasn't your first choice, Pete, either?
What's that?
People weren't happy to have him there either, were they? There were people saying that he wasn't good enough.
There was some Newcastle. I think, and look, I think we discussed this. I think before you came on last week, Dan, in that, you know, I was a massive fan of Eddie Howe even a year before we even signed him. So I knew what his capabilities were. Some Newcastle fans weren't sure, and the reason being is because in the media we were linked with Konate, we were linked with Rodgers, we were linked with all these managers. And why wouldn't you take those managers that are proven ahead? So when you've then got Eddie Howe coming in, it's kind of like, is that a good signing? Is it not? Is it a good manager? Is it not? For me, he was the one that was going to get us out of that mess because he's a coach. He coaches players to become better. We had 6 of those players that played at the weekend that were failing under Steve Bruce. You know, you got Miguel Almiron, you got Wilson, you got the likes of Willock, Fabian Shaw. There were other players in there
as well. New position.
Sorry,
Joe Linton's a new position.
Yeah, he was suspended. He didn't play on Sunday. But again,
but in general, Joe Linton.
Exactly. You know. Like, he's coached all of those players and made them better players. So he's proven his credentials.
Do you know what he did as well? Do you know what else I love about him is obviously he left Bournemouth, they got relegated. He could have gone straight back into a job. There's no denying he could have gone straight, but he didn't. He took the time out and he went all across the world, didn't he? He was just gaining knowledge and learning and becoming more experienced. And he's quality.
Did he actually do that? I didn't realize that. You know?
Yeah, he did that.
The three big. So if you haven't watched Eddie Howe's high performance with Jake Humphries, it came out yesterday. It is an unbelievable hour and a half. He talks you through everything, and for me, I respected that man highly. For me, his respect has gone higher from what he's talked about and from how he has manipulated the situation. He hasn't gone into detail. He doesn't want to tell all his secrets. I get that, but listening to him, it just tells you about the man and what he's capable of. But I knew anyway. At that point, before he even came to the club, he went to 8 clubs all over. He even went to speak to some CEOs to see what they wanted in a manager, high-end CEOs. And he talks about that in the podcast. But 3 clubs he went to. He spent time with Maurizio Sarri when he was at Juventus to look at how he played that quick transition football into counter-attack. He then went and spent time with Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid. That's where he obviously spoke to Trippier and got to know him a little bit better, obviously signed him after that, but looked at how he sets up defensively. We know what Simeone does as a defensive unit, how he sets his teams up to be dogged and defensive. He then went and spent time with Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool and looked at, okay, what can we do in terms of that high intensity, pressing, attacking football? What you're seeing from Newcastle United is all 3. You're seeing all 3 of them in full effect. We do not stop for 90 minutes. We are constantly pressing, constantly pushing for 90 minutes. I would go as far as saying we are probably the fittest team in the league. And what epitomized that on Sunday is Sean Longstaff. And people won't talk about Sean Longstaff because he's not a high-profile player. But Sean Longstaff epitomized that. He covered every blade of grass. He presses high. You'll see him 1 second as the defensive midfielder sitting in front of Botman and Shaw. The next minute, he's pressing the goalkeeper to put pressure on him. He does not stop. Bruno Guimaraes plays in and around.
Success for for you guys for us to turn over the ball for your second goal. I think obviously second goal against
Miguel Almiron. Yeah.
The thing is, Lawless, you say Lawless, is it sustainable? I think it is when you've got 1 game a week because that's why I think Newcastle got a chance.
Look at Leeds, they got burnt out. Every season under Bielsa,
Leeds had a small squad. Leeds had a small squad, and he played the same players over and over again.
These are going to spend in January big.
The one thing I'll argue with that is that we've just had a 3-game week the other week. We went to Old Trafford and probably should have won. Was unlucky not to win, albeit Rashford had a late chance, but we had a good couple of chances to put the game to bed early on in the day. 0-0 draw. Played Everton on the Wednesday. Beat them comfortably, even though it was 1-0, it was comfortable. It should have been 3 or 4. They didn't even have a shot on target. And then we went to Tottenham and we played as well as we did. And that was the third game of the week. That was the third game in. And we played probably our best football in that third game of the week. So we've proven, and that team didn't really change. We didn't make any changes. I think, in fact, we kept the team for each game. So we've proven that we can do a 3-game week. We won't need to do it every week, but we've proven we can do it. And
Let's see if it catches up with you later in the season.
Is it sustainable? We don't know. But this is where Eddie Howe's going to prove his worth, because, you know, this is where there was an argument of, would you want the season to stop? Well, it will stop for a month, and our players will get to rejuvenate, will get to rest and recuperate.
How many of yours going to the World Cup, Pete?
So we've got Bruno is in the squad. We've got Nick Pope, Trippier, potentially Callum Wilson going for England. We've got Fabian Schär for Switzerland, and I think that is about it.
Is Botman in the Dutch?
Oh, sorry, Botman's in the provisional. I think they're a 45-man squad.
Me,
I don't think he'll make the squad, because
he should be in. He should be in.
No, he should, but I don't think he will, because you got.
They've got too many centre backs.
You got De Ligt, Van Dijk, and what's his name, Ake, and
De Vries
as well. Yeah, because I remember I was seeing Botman. He's played a lot of under 21 football for Holland, hasn't he?
He's been called up for the first team, but didn't actually get a cap when he was in the squad. That was when he was at Lille. For me,
he looks quality, man. He looks
for
class.
me. He's outperforming some of those other centre backs that are in the Dutch squad. But I think the World Cup's maybe come a little bit too soon.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement, though, that he is outperforming some of those centre backs.
He is for sure. He is outperforming. He's one of the best performing centre backs in the Premier League. There's no doubt about it. He's proven that because we've got the best defensive record, and he's been a part of that. He's not been on a losing side this season.
Once all season.
No.
Once all season. No. I mean Newcastle.
Botman didn't play in that game. But we lost.
You know what I mean? That's cracking.
98th minute against Liverpool. That should never have been. It should have been finished 2 minutes before that. But that's another conversation.
You're rolling around for the fucking 15th minute in.
Never.
Finally.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I clocked as well, Pete, as well, because I was like, Newcastle are flying, innit? And the one game a week thing makes it easier for you to maintain what you're doing. But then I thought, you know what, there's got to be a chink here. And then I look at Almiron. Almiron scored something like 7 goals.
7 in 7, yeah.
7 goals in 7. I'm like, surely that's not sustainable. But even if he drops off a cliff, I was like, oh, he's not going to maintain. But then I realized Isaac is injured. ASM is injured. So they're coming back into the team. They're going to add. So even if he does dip in form, they're going to bring some quality. They're going to bring some goals as well. So I'm actually interested to see how this ends this season with Newcastle, because it looks like the way you play, you're not going away. Your midfield's physical, yet Bruno brings the quality. Your defense are so organized, yet Trippier can play make from right back. And then your attack, you got Callum Wilson, I think his finishing is really underrated. Like
it's just fitness, isn't it, with him? It's just fitness.
Ever since he's gone to Newcastle, like Callum Wilson, I used to associate him with someone who he took a lot of chances to score at Bournemouth. At Newcastle, he pulls off some ridiculous finishes. I'm just thinking, where the hell is this coming from?
Well, he's in the prime of his career. He's 30 now. So he's in that period. And to be fair, under Steve Bruce, you had to take your chances. We'd only get to a game. And I don't mean Callum Wilson would get to a game. The team would get to a game. So he had to take his chances in order to score goals. So he's almost learned how to be clinical with his chances when he gets them. But now we're creating even more chances.
Callum Wilson's so good, by the way. If he stayed fit,
he is. And for me, he should be going to the World Cup. For me,
he should.
He's someone. Forget his goals, although his goal to minutes record is amazing. What I would say is that Callum Wilson offers the total package. If someone like Harry Kane isn't fit, he can hold up the ball, he can run the channels, he's clinical with his finishing. you know, he will he'll ruffle some feathers with those international defenders.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
I think he's better than Tony, and I think he's better than Tammy Abraham. So
I agree.
Pete, just imagine how well you'd be doing if you had Skamaka up top for you, mate.
Well, no, we've got Isak. For me, Isak's a better player, and he's already proven at 22 years old. But he's only played 3 games.
Skamaka's good.
I'm not saying that. To be fair, I'm not saying that Skamaka's not good. Skamaka is a very good striker, and if we'd have not got Isak, I would have been more than happy with Skamaka. And to be fair, we were linked with him in the summer. But we were always heavily linked with Isak, and it was about could we get the money to get him done. Isak's only played 3 games. He scored 2 goals. For me, like when he gets
what injury was it, Pete? What's he out with?
Thigh injury.
Oh,
So he's got a thigh injury. Sweden on at the World Cup anyway, so he'll have he's already back in kind of like light training. So by the time we come back after the World Cup, he'll be fit and firing and ready to go. Alan St-Maximin's had a couple of cameo appearances. He probably played tomorrow against Palace. We haven't even seen him. He hasn't played since August against Wolves. So we've done all this without our probably another 2 main players in the team. So as Toby said, add them to the team. Add the potential of us potentially signing someone like Maddison in January to improve the squad.
I think that's a done deal.
I don't think it's a done deal. I don't think it's a done deal. I don't know if Leicester will sell him because of how much they need him. He is so crucial to them.
I can't see them selling him in January. No chance.
No,
you're gonna have to break the bank to
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, but
the bank to break.
They can afford it. Yeah, that's what I mean.
They can afford it, but are they really going to drop
million.
like an £80 million bid for
There's
Maddison?
no chance. There's no chance. We will go. There is no doubt that we will go back in for Maddison in January. But we will go back in. We had a 35 and a 45 million pound deal rejected in the summer.
I think it's a deadline deal.
I think the deal was altogether around 50 million. I think we're going to probably go back in with a 50 million deal with an overall package of 60 million. If they don't take that, we will go elsewhere.
I don't think
players. Deadline day. Not in January out there you could get for that sort of price.
I think if it was in the summer, you could get him for that price. 60 million, I think you could get Maddison. But in January, for a club like Leicester to to sell Madison, it's going to be very, very difficult.
They need the money, though.
Let Errol speak.
Yeah, they need 100%. They need the money.
I'm saying, but Tobes keeps running
100% they need the money. But what I'm saying is, if they get rid of, if they sell him, the money that they stand to gain from his transfer, they could miss out on through league positions.
Yeah, you're right.
Like I don't think they can. He's there. I think he's their top goal scorer, their top assistant. They literally cannot afford to lose him in January. They can't.
They can't afford to, but I just think he's got deadline day written all over it. I do.
Go on, Errol, quick. Errol, quick.
At the start of the season, Dan asked us all where our respective teams were going to finish. Obviously, you've come in midway through the first part of the season. Where was your kind of expectations at the start of the season? And have you now realigned them?
For me,
your current set? Yeah, for you, bro.
Okay.
Can they get top 4, Pete? Can you get top 4? That's what I want to know.
Okay,
wrap all of that up into that.
So for me, I always said my predictions for this season, I would have been absolutely buzzing if we finished anywhere in the top 10. And the reason why I said that is because I just didn't want a relegation battle. I'm done with them. Like I'm sick of it. Every year under Bruce and Ashley, I just didn't want a relegation battle. So if we finished anywhere in the top 10, I'd have been buzzing. Okay. Obviously, as the season's unravelled, it's improved. For me, I think we're capable of finishing in the top 7, which would get us European football. I think we're playing good enough football.
That's definite.
If you look around everyone at the table, obviously bar West Ham, but if you look around everyone in the table in terms of the traditional top 6, I'm not being disrespectful here. I'm not being disrespectful here. This is just that
greedy 6
with that kind of traditional top 6. Like we're playing just as good a football as anybody else.
I think you're 12 months ahead of the project. 12 months ahead of the project.
100%. And to be fair, if we got top 4, we're 2 years ahead of the project.
Yeah.
So we're already pushing ahead. So for me, I think we can get top 7. Can we get top 4? I would love top 4, but the reality is that I just think we might fall short.
Okay,
I think
that's
we'll.
fair.
I think
Listen,
we'll
if
fall
you
short.
do, you'll be happy with that.
It's still early days. We're 14 games into the process. If we're sitting here in February and we're still within a point or two of top 4, I'll be telling you we can get top 4.
You know what, Pete? I just have to say this. Like,
are you going to apologize?
I'm real
with you.
Apologize.
He's coming
No,
close,
listen,
lads. Be careful.
I need Pete to realise what's happening here, because I see it. I don't know if Pete and the Newcastle fans see it, right? But they're all kissing your ass right now because you're still the plucky underdogs and all of that stuff. Watch how they turn on you, yeah? If that dominance starts to happen and you start winning leagues, and all of you lot, all of your club's fans, yeah?
I didn't suck it up to him. I sucked up to him.
Tobes is the only one I give him some credit. He's kissed ass a bit today, but
Southampton, how did they lose 4-1?
Right, no, but I give
unbelievable this guy.
credit, yeah. All of this loving, yeah.
All I've said is Eddie Howe's a good manager. I've said Eddie Howe's a good manager.
Is going to be gone.
So salty. He's so salty about Newcastle. It's unbelievable.
No, listen, Pete. Me and you, yeah. Listen, we go back.
This was not you two last
week. Don't get used to it. It's going to Thursday night soon.
They're going to turn on you.
Guys, can I ask a question? What was Lawless's opinion on the Chelsea performance? Just a quick question.
What?
What was Lewis's take on how Chelsea performed?
Well, we didn't discuss. I didn't discuss it. I didn't get involved.
Didn't discuss. But what's your opinion on their performance? Do you think they were garbage?
I didn't think Chelsea were particularly good that day.
Oh, so you did just say it. So they were awful, right?
They were not very good that day. Yeah,
they were awful. It's not very good. They were flat out awful. Guess how many attempts Chelsea had at home to Arsenal?
What do you want me to guess?
5 attempts, 1 on target.
Okay.
Guess how many attempts West Ham West Ham had at home to fucking Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace.
Where's the correlation?
Guess how many attempts West Ham had? The great West Ham with Skamaka playing, with Paqueta playing, with and Rama starting.
Oh, Tobes, Paqueta, mate, world beater.
Declan Rice. Guess how many attempts? Guess how many attempts they had? They had 5. Crystal Palace went to their ground and had around 16 attempts at their goal, 15, 16 attempts.
Listen,
this is the same West Ham side that Lawrence keeps telling us.
Hold on,
telling us to fear.
Let me quickly say
this. How many did they have? I didn't hear what you said. How many attempts did they have?
What, Palace?
5.
No, West Ham.
5.
They had 5 attempts at home.
5 at home, right? But can I just say that this result is exactly the same as Spurs picking up a point against Liverpool, because Liverpool and Palace are in exactly the same position in the league.
0 points.
That's what he said. Pete, Errol, and Dan, United Dan. This guy literally said on Matisse's channel to me yesterday that Spurs losing to Liverpool 2-1, despite racking up 14 attempts, 4 big chances created, was the same as West Ham losing to Crystal Palace at home. With them racking up 5.
Let me respond.
Spurs were turning the screw towards the end.
Let me respond to that. This is how,
look at Errol.
This guy sat there and said, because Spurs are so many points ahead of West Ham, it shows they're such a better side, right? Because the points, it's all about the points. They're such a better side than us. Because
in the league, it is, Sir Lawless. In the league, it is.
Listen, just listen.
It is in the league.
Listen. Mute him. Mute this clown. Mute this rummy bastard. Support Wolves or Aston Villa or Birmingham. You're supporting Man United, yeah? Your glory's washed up now. Now listen, Tobes tried to say about points. They're so far ahead levels above us because of how many points they're ahead of us, yeah? So I come back and brought it back. Okay, Liverpool are on the same points as Palace, yeah? Yet you want to throw your chest out when you've just lost to a team that's on 19 points, the same as Palace. We've both lost to teams that are on equal points, right? That's a fact. That is a fact.
And what's the point? Even if it was
You
the
keep
fact, what's the
losing
point?
though. You keep Lawless. You keep
We're
losing
talking
though.
about now. Like, you can't. Tobes cannot come and throw his chest around after losing to a team that's joint fucking ninth or whatever they are.
Liverpool
right?
Palace.
I'm talking about now on form. Liverpool lost the league. They lost to Nottingham Forest.
What? Mute this fucking man.
We're the only
This
team
is
that have beaten Man
ridiculous.
City and Newcastle this season.
Yeah, but I'm talking about current form. Like,
Yeah, but that is current form. That was only about 4 weeks ago.
Like, no, but Tobes is acting like he's lost to the European champions, Liverpool. Yeah,
Liverpool
This ain't
literally made the Champions League final
finalist.
just a few months ago.
Yeah,
Just
but
a
then
few months
you're
ago.
acting like this is peak Liverpool. This ain't peak Liverpool. This is poor Liverpool. Liverpool in a
And
poor
what are
run.
you? What are you? You? This is a poor version of West Ham, and yet you keep talking up this team like they can chat to anyone on this panel. You
I
keep
talk
doing
up
it.
my
And that's the
players.
point I
I'm
made.
talking up my players.
That's the point I made. Matisse will back me up on this. I only said
still
what I said.
believe in them.
I only said what I said off the back of you saying how bad you lot were. Oh, how Moyes got it wrong, etc., etc. And then I checked your league position. And I said they're like 15th, 16th. Why the fuck does this guy talk the way he talks? I'm like, what is going on here? I said to you, and I asked you, are you going to admit that Spurs are a clear level above West Ham? And you're like, oh, you're puffing your chest out. It's fact.
No,
Now, stop comparing yourself to Spurs.
You're doing
Stop
better than
comparing
us
yourself
this
to
season.
Tottenham. Stop comparing yourself to Spurs. Stop comparing yourself to United.
You compare yourself to
Stop
us.
it.
You
Stop
brought
it.
up.
You are not as good as these sides. You are not competing for the same things these sides are competing for. You're not as good. You are not as good.
Compare yourself
Just
to
face
us.
that.
I defend myself.
Face that. I don't compare. Why would I compare myself to you?
You do it all the time. Oh, you got checked to me. You got checked to me because we're levels above you.
Well, we are, because
sorry.
you keep talking about Spurs. You keep shitting on
We're
Spurs.
on a show. I'm on shows with
No.
you.
There's a difference. There's a difference, bro. You
What am
can
I
shit on
supposed to
Spurs. You prop up West Ham to shit on Spurs, and that's where I get irate, because you talk about West Ham as if because you spent so much money, because you've got some of the players you've got, and because you finished in the top 6 or top 7 for 2 seasons out of a possible 15, that you belong at a table. You don't belong at that table.
Maybe we don't belong.
You don't belong at that table, and that's what you've been arguing.
Belong at the table.
And that's my point.
You
Don't belong at that table. And then when I brought up the points tally, you keep dismissing it. You finished 15 points behind us last season.
So points matter now.
15
But it
points.
didn't
And
matter
yet,
when
and yet
it's
you keep
Liverpool and
pretending
Palace.
as if the gap is sizable. I showed you the comparison between Spurs and Liverpool, Spurs and Man City. Spurs and Man City won the league, and Spurs finished 4th. Man City finished 22 points ahead of us. You finished 15 points behind us. But yet you seem to think that you can equate yourself to Spurs. I would not equate myself to Man City.
Year in, year out,
I would never equate myself to Man City. Stop gassing up West Ham. Let them do something on the pitch, because all you do is talk.
I need to bring you down. Okay.
Right.
You're too ahead of yourself, Toad. You think you're one of the big boys. Your team had the audacity to try and get in a Super League. Super League. Who do you think you are? Come back down.
Lawless. Look,
Look at this guy.
You got Leicester at the weekend, right? You got Leicester at the weekend. Is it at the King Power?
No, it's at the stadium.
Okay, so if Leicester picking up some form now. If you lose this game, where do you see your season going at this point? Are you still going to have Moyes as manager come the turnaround after Christmas? Because
he's Moyes out now.
This is
finally Moyes out.
That's why I say it. The reason why I say it is we're over a third into the season, 15 games in. If you lose that game, you'll be on 14 points. Leicester have had a shocking start to the season and are currently ahead of you on goal difference. They've got the same points as you. They'll be 3 points ahead.
You've lost
2 points off. You're 2 points off Southampton, who are currently third from bottom, who have just sacked their manager, who we beat 4-1. And to be fair, they gave it a go, but I'll be honest,
And Lawless,
they were shocking.
So to add to that, before what was it, about 3 weeks ago, Dan? We asked them the question: at what point do you pull the plug on Moyes? You said there was like 3 games before the World Cup that he had to get. Was it 6 or 7 points that he was expecting?
Mm-hmm.
So far, how many points are you on for your objective in that respect? And are you ready to fully pull the plug?
Well, we didn't get the Palace points, did we? Who did we play up before Palace? I can't even remember.
United, mate. That was us, mate. Beat you on
Yeah,
there.
we needed
Who you've said you're going to finish above all season.
Hey, you just got slapped to your local team, so I don't know what you're talking about, mate. So listen, don't act bigger.
Oh my God, this guy, man.
Who's my local team, Lawless? Who's my local team?
Aston Villa,
Who's my local team? Who's my local team? Do I sound like Jack Grealish, you fucking pleb?
Well, it's definitely not Man United. You know that for a fact.
Do I sound like Jack Grealish?
Oh, you're so shameless, Lawless, man.
But Man United, Palace, and Leicester. I said we need a minimum of 6. And so far we have 0. Right? And we have 3 more to get. I think it's time. I'm feeling it's time to pull the plug. If we don't beat, and I'm not saying we lose, if we don't beat Leicester, he has to go immediately. But I think we already need to start looking for a new manager because we have a great group of players. I don't care what people say. Oh, because Paqueta's not going on a mad one. By the way, he's been injured. Because Scamacca's not banging in goals every week. You know what I mean? Like, it's the players. No, it's the manager. Look at how he did Haller. He cannot deal with good strikers. That's why he likes to shoehorn players in other positions into being their goal scorers. But it's not working now. That Ben Bowen's not, propping him up with goals.
He getting dropped?
What's going on with Antonio, man? What's going on with Antonio? Man, I can't hit barn door at the moment.
He was a disgrace, by the way. What falling over like that? What an absolute fool!
When he was on fire, at the start of last season, and Kane couldn't hit a barn door, he's better than Kane. Apparently,
he was better than him in that time.
Really?
In that moment.
Was that a real talk? Was that a real talk?
No. Listen. This is what he does. He's twisting my words. He's twisting my words.
That's what you said. You said he was better than Kane.
Better than Kane at that time.
I remember this.
He's better form.
There's no time he's better than Kane. I don't care if he scored 30 goals this season. Never ever mention these two in the same sentence. And that's your problem. That's your problem right there. That's your problem.
You know what? Lawless, it's more than Moyes as well. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it's more than Moyes. Bowen is stinking the house out, yeah? Moyes, fair play. He needs to drop him, but he won't do it. But Moen is stinking the house out. I don't get this Paqueta lark, by the way. I don't get him. Paqueta, I don't get what Paqueta's doing. I've not seen anything from this Paqueta guy so far that I've gone, wow. I don't really get it, personally.
He's a Brazilian number 10 who's playing in a team that sets up from home to say, yeah, let's sit and drop deep and just let Palace come on and dominate the ball. What are we expecting him to do? He's not used to playing insides like this. And we're blaming him. The guy's just got to the Prem.
I'm not blaming him. I'm saying he's one. I'm not blaming him. I'm saying he's one of the people that I don't really see performing at the moment. Out of quite a few of your players. Yeah, Moyes deserves a lot of stick as a results business. And I think that he's probably got to go if you want to move forward. But who are you going to get in, man? Who are you going to take you forward now?
The thing is, you're still I was on shows with you on the League Judges channel, and you were still talking about how you think Pepe is still the answer, yeah? Nicolas Pepe and all of that stuff. Because, we got to give him time. What? We can't. How many games has Paqueta played? Like 4? And we're writing him off already. And
but you're not getting my point. I've not written him off already. I'm just saying I don't get it. I've not seen it yet to go, wow. So
can't criticize him.
Is that Moyes' fault that he's not been good? Maybe it is. I don't know.
Maybe it is.
But
I don't think he plays a brand of football that suits the players that he's buying. Scamacca, he's feeding off scraps. Absolute scrap. We're asking him to do everything, to drop deep and pick up the ball and beat 5 players and stick it in the back of the net. It's ridiculous.
Where would West Ham be without an informed Rice this season as well?
Yeah, Rice is definitely, and I think Rice has been held back by having to play next to Souček, and I think that's affecting his game because he's not even been at his levels, and he's still been our best player.
He's better than Bentancur. That one.
Lawless. Quick question with regards to Rice. Then we've talked about Maddison potentially going somewhere in January. If this doesn't shape up and it gets worse, do you think
there's no way Rice leaves in January? Absolutely no chance at at all.
What about end of the season then? End of the season. If you finish around mid-table, if you finish around mid-table, regardless of whether Moyes is there or not, is that then the kind of the doors opening for Rice to be able to then leave? And can he justify forcing that move?
If we got an exciting manager in and we still finished mid-table, but we can see that, okay, he's going to have a transfer window now and then go again next in the summer. That's going to be his time.
But that's you saying that, Dan. That's you saying that, Dan. You know, is Rice going to accept that? Rice is being talked about as a top defensive midfielder in the Premier League. He's been talked about
saying that he was going to leave.
Is he going to accept staying there?
It's not been this bad, Lawless. It's not been this bad.
No, but what I'm saying is, if he looks at it, right, and we get an exciting manager, he can look at, go, geez, this is a top manager. Like, how have they got this guy? I can't believe it. Like, and there's improvements, right, in how we play, and we start playing better, but maybe the damage is done. We still finish around mid-table, but you can see the progress or the process, as Dan Potts likes to say.
No, I don't like to say.
He can, well, you do now. He can potentially, you know what I mean? Then go, let me give it a go under this manager. I want to see where this is going.
Who do you want then? Who do you want?
Look, we've spoke it. I've said, look, punch above your weight. Aston Villa managed to get Unai Emery, who was playing in Europe, and he's come down to a team that was in like relegation zones,
This will be fun.
right? So I don't see why we can't look at a Mancini or a Poch, you know,
Mancini,
the Italian national manager.
Because he's not doing anything. They literally got he's got nothing to do.
He's still
I'm sure he'd be so interested in West Ham.
He's watching the World Cup with the rest of us.
You're not going to get Mancini.
He's not buying houses around your place,
the fact that he's in London. If he's wearing a London-based club, he would struggle. But that's the one good thing.
You fucking hate London, don't you? You hate it.
I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it is what it is.
It's no Birmingham, is it? For fuck's sake, Birmingham, you fucking pleb.
No, but listen, why? But so Aston Villa can punch above their weight, but we can't try and punch above our weight, huh?
You did. You finished last season.
Yeah, you just got to be realistic about it, Lawless. That's all we're saying. I don't think
so
that is a
Villa
realistic.
don't have to be realistic.
No, because I think Unai Emery has come into that job and he's obviously looking at that situation differently. So, Tobes, you trying to come in and you're on mute?
No, I said Unai Emery was gettable for West Ham. Pochettino.
No, but I would have. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
But look at Villa. Like, at least we're in Europe and shit. He, you know what I mean? So he's come to Villa, who's in a shambles right now. But I'm saying that you can't say that Villa getting Emery is punching above their weight.
It is punching above their weight.
Yeah.
So what Unai Emery to Villa? 100% punching above their weight.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So why is it so ridiculous for us to try and punch above our weight?
No, nobody said it's ridiculous for you to punch above your weight. You mentioned
those two names.
Yesterday, Mancini is not even a bad shout because you got Pellegrini before, and Mancini. It depends on what he wants to do.
Yeah,
with Italy.
true. Actually,
they didn't make the World Cup this year, so probably he wants to go again and try and retain his crown at the Euros.
Mancini wants that money though. He wants that guaranteed money to be spent.
He spent 175 million, so maybe they want to spend that again.
If Mancini comes in, he's going to want the Moyes summer money. He's going to want the 175 million to slap down again. Now, has your owners, and this is a genuine question, has your owners got that money to go again?
I think Kretinsky's got it, but he's already got his boy Scamacca in, You've
got more chance against Scott Parker, mate. You've got more chance of Scott Parker.
I do not want Scott Parker. I'd be interested to see if these. No, none of these managers. Don't even look at Errol's listen. He's waiting for the Liverpool job, isn't it? He's waiting.
It ain't happening.
Listen, I think Lawless. If you do lose your next game, then he's kind of done, isn't it?
Results business. Potts, tell me who we should get then. Come on, Potts. Your boy Allegri that you work for every year.
Yeah, you got no chance.
Rafa Benitez.
Rafa
Benitez.
You wanted
Rafa before. They wanted Rafa when we had Rafa. They wanted Rafa when we had Rafa. And they tried to buy him out of his contract and they tried to force a deal. And Lawless, we were talking. You were saying, Rafa, blah, blah, blah. Rafa Benitez, he's free.
I kind of wanted him to the feud for the Newcastle feud.
And get teams playing better. Small
He
budget.
wouldn't even be a bad shout in comparison to
No,
Moyes,
man.
you know.
Like
Rafa
what
Benitez.
he did with Everton was criminal, man.
Yeah, it was, but that was never going to
It was
happen.
never
I
gonna
don't think it was
happen. Never
is as
gonna
bad
be.
as that. I think he's a good,
was the
he's a
worst
Selling
good
thing
some
manager.
of their best players to
And you know what? He was first choice for Newcastle. The owners, because Rafa Benitez was the big reason why Amanda Staveley and PIF came into Newcastle, because Rafa Benitez put him in our direction because he was the manager at the time. And he was then going to be the first choice with the takeover. And they asked him to hold on a few months in the summer, but Rafa Benitez, being Rafa Benitez, doesn't like sitting on his hands, and he just forces himself into a job no matter what it is, and he made the wrong decision. And he regrets it.
You got more chance of getting Rafa than Poch.
Yeah, but again, he plays dead football. Like, I'm sorry, we've got some quality attacking players there. This is where Mark
can't have
Noble's
both, bro. You can't have both. Can't have both. Sometimes you just got to win games. Ugly, man.
No, because we can just keep Moyes, and then we can wait for him.
Not winning games.
Yeah, he's not now, but he'll probably get to the point where he starts, getting some shit wins over the line. We bought in players like Paqueta and Scamacca. We've got the likes of Ben Rama there, ball players. Let's get a manager that suits them, and this is where Mark Noble's going to earn his paycheck now and prove that he's up to the job, because his task will probably be identifying that manager that will fit.
His job will be there till the end of the season, Lawless, to be fair, mate, the way it's going.
I think he'll stay. Yeah, I think he'll stay. I think he will.
I'm telling you, if we lose to Leicester, boy, like the fans have already started to turn on him big time.
Exactly, started to. He's going to be after the World Cup. Even if you lose, I think
that World Cup's a perfect time to get a new manager in, man.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Like
Listen,
we got to go for Mancini and go. Look at all this. See this. Look at these managers. They're having fun. They're actually, having the time of their lives on the touchline. There, that could have been you, but they let you down.
You should do the job, mate. You should do that job. You get someone signed.
Make me the director of football.
Yeah,
listen,
you're the West Ham PR man. I'll tell you that. Errol, I know you got to shoot, bro. Love. Man, we'll speak to you next time. Last few minutes.
Top man.
Nice one, Errol. Always a pleasure, man.
Watch for the Tobes tears. Let's all will it. Let me just, everyone put your hands up to the screen now before we move on. And I just need everyone to will Poch for the Tobes tears. Back it. I know you're backing it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the sign of a desperate man. The sign of a desperate man.
Loads of people in the chat are saying, like, literally, he's got his hands on his head. He's giving him a headache.
He's tapped out, bro. He's a tap out, Tobes. He's tapped out. I tell you, he's done, man. Last few minutes, Dan, I know you've got to go soon as well. Unai Emery did a number on you, mate. Good evening and all that. Man United looks poor in parts, man. I don't know what was going on, but it looks to me, Dan, that squad depth is a problem at Manchester United for me, because there's a couple of players missing and you look different again, man. So what do you make of it, bruv?
We haven't got a striker. That's to start off. We haven't got a striker. Ronaldo's not done it this season. We look different with him in the side. I mean, Lawless against West Ham. Were you worried? he was awful, wasn't he? He had a couple of attempts, but it wasn't anything. To write home about. I called this. I said we'd lose. New manager bounce. The lads were going to be well up for it. I called it. I did. I said, but the main thing is, I'm not worried. I don't think it's the start of us going on the terrible run and losing. Fully expect us to beat them on Thursday at Old Trafford. It's one of them. This season is as we've all said, this is transition for United. We're well ahead of where we thought we were going to be. I still think we'll get top four, and I'm convinced we'll get top four. Absolutely convinced we get top four. I think we'll buy in January. I think we'll buy a striker, because the fact of the matter is we can't trust Ronaldo to do a job. Martial's injury prone. He won't play more than 10 games the rest of the season. As you said about the squad depth there, the fact we started Garnacho. Now, Garnacho is an exciting talent. He is exciting. He looks stunning, but it's that not ready. Missed Bruno Fernandes. I think we looked a different team without Bruno Fernandes. Chucked Donny van der Beek in, who. He's not been playing for a reason for United, has he? And I think it showed on Sunday. But I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I'm not worried. I didn't come away from the game and think, "Fuck, I've only got to drive 10 minutes down the road because I live in Birmingham, so I don't have to go far. No, but I didn't sit there and think, oh bollocks, that's us bollocks. I don't think that at all. We've got a lot of football to play. The one thing I will say is everyone was gassing about Maguire not starting this game, saying if he starts, we lose. Well, Lindelof looked exactly the same. I think Lindelof looked...
He's dreadful, man.
He's worse.
You can't hack physical duels, bro. You can't hack physical duels.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Too lightweight. So yeah, it's one of them. We take these games. We were never going to go undefeated for the rest of the season. These games happen. I'm not bothered at all. Not bothered at all.
Why? You know why, Dan? You're not like seething and angry and kicking off is because you trust your manager. That's the key. Is that actually at this point now, compared to other years before, is that you've got full trust in your manager. The way he's dealt with the Ronaldo situation, the way he's dealt with a number of situations since he's come into the club. And let's face it, he came into the club in real shit circumstances. Yeah. He has dealt with things so well.
He won the battle with Ronaldo, didn't he? I mean, that battle with Ronaldo, that to me said everything, and that actually showed, I think, the club backing him as well. Because you got to remember, Ronaldo's got a lot of people around that club. Sir Alex Ferguson, for one, honestly, I think the fact he won that battle with Ronaldo, and Ronaldo will be gone if he's not gone in January. He's gone at the end of the season.
That's the point in which you move on, in which you get him out the club and look to improve the squad. But what he's building, it almost reminds me a little bit of what Klopp experienced when he first came into the club.
I've said this.
Real difficult moments where they weren't playing great, losing matches,
getting rid of all of that deadwood as well. Getting rid of all that deadwood out of the club. He's got a clear plan, and you can and I don't care what anyone says. You can see the clear plan that Ten Hag has in place there. Yeah. He's asserted his authority there. He does not accept below par performances. If you crap, you're out. I honestly think it's the future is so bright for United, and that's why I still say we're finishing fourth, boys. We're finishing fourth.
Well, we'll see where Man United finish, and there's a lot of football to play. As we wrap up, I just want people to give a score prediction of their next Premier League game. Obviously, we've got Carabao Cup game as well midweek, but I'll start. I reckon Arsenal beat Wolves 2-0. Pete, Chelsea, Newcastle.
We do love a late evening kickoff at St. James's Park at 5:30 under the lights, war flags. For me, 2-0 Newcastle.
Fair play. Lawless, Leicester.
The season starts now, Lawless.
Or ends.
I'm going to say 2-0 Leicester.
Oh! 2-0 Leicester. He really wants Moyes out. He really wants Moyes out.
Well.
I can't see it. They're on an upswing. And
why are you betting them?
What?
Why you're betting them? You're at home.
They got a better manager.
Oh, but they don't have. What about the team though?
But well, listen, we got. I fully think we've got a better team than them. I fully think.
Yeah. I didn't realize. Listen, I know tactics can stifle a team, but I didn't realize your talented players are all robots that can't.
What happened with Nuno, eh? What happened with Nuno? Eh?
Yeah, Nuno was shit. Nuno was shit.
Shut up. Put some respect on his name then. What about your players?
Nuno was crap and our squad was pants.
Yeah, Kane shit. Son shit.
No. Our squad, not Kane and Son. Our squad. What? Kane and Son aren't the whole squad.
You still got most of them players there. What are you talking about? Most of those players.
We don't. And Ndombele's gone.
Yeah.
Lo Celso's gone.
We've got Dyer.
Yeah, Dyer was one of the performers when Nuno was in the club.
Still got Lloris. Still got Royale.
Lloris was the performer when Nuno was in the club.
Still got Sessegnon.
He's shit, and he didn't play under Nuno.
I'm just saying. Like,
listen to this.
Your point is terrible.
Wow.
By the way, he calls this player Chicken Royale to insult him when literally their badge has a chicken on it. Like their mascot is a chicken. And he's downplaying the chicken. That should be a compliment to Spurs fans.
And yours has hammers, but you are not tough.
Hammers, yeah. We hammer you enough time. Trust me. We hammer your chicken ball, cock and ball FC.
You hammer us enough times. No, you don't. We statistically have beaten you way more times than you've beaten us.
Listen, we've given you
again. Talking rubbish again. Keep lying.
I'd rather.
There you go. Comparing yourself to Spurs.
2-0
What would you
Leicester.
rather be, a Hammers or chicken?
I'd rather be Spurs than West Ham. That's what I'd
Jesus
rather be.
Christ. This is unbelievable. Dan United, what are you going for, man? Man United. Who have you got, by the way?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Villa because we're being Villa fan, we're away at Brighton, so we'll have to have a think about this. New manager bounce. We're hopeful, to be fair. We're fucking hopeful.
Should be. Support your local.
Fulham.
Support your local.
We got Fulham. I think
Fulham.
2-1. I think 2-1. I think is Mitrovic out? I think Mitrovic is out, isn't he?
He's the doubt. He's 75% fit on.
The one thing I would like to say, Potts, just a quick one.
Go on, bro.
For everybody that's watching, November is a month. We all know synonymous with Movember for prostate cancer. It's also a month for men's mental health. So one thing I do want to just get out there to everybody watching, I work in mental health myself. I've suffered with it myself. I want you all just to remember that utilize your mates out there. Speak up if you've got any issues. It's getting to that time of the year where it is a shit time of the year for a lot of people. So if you can just pick your phone up and just get in contact with your mates and check they're okay. Just be there as much as you can for them. So that's all I wanted to say on that, guys.
Yeah.
No, listen, well said, man, and fair play, and I echo those words. Tobes, lastly, Spurs, bro. What do you reckon?
3-1. Richie's back. Kulusevski's back. Yeah. Back us to win.
Who Spurs got? Sorry, I don't even know.
Leeds at home. It's not going to be an easy game, as we've seen when they've played some of the big sides this season. But yeah, I'll back us to beat Leeds.
Fair play, man. Kulusevski's a massive, massive positive for me, man. When he came on, I thought he looked wicked again. So that's a shame that he's back, but good for Spurs. Wicked. We're going to leave it there, guys. Absolute pleasure as always. Big up the gang. All of their channels are in the descriptions. So make sure you go and subscribe to there as well. I've hit 6K today, guys. So thank you all so much for that. Much appreciate that. And please smash a like and a subscribe.
Well done.
Cheers, man. Appreciate that. But you lot make it, to be fair. So I appreciate it, man. And all of you guys for watching it as well and keep coming back. So still 420 of you watching live. Smash a like on this if you can do. Hit subscribe and hit on the way to 7K next it will be. So thanks a lot, peeps. We'll see you next week. And until then, up the Arsenal. Take care.